Welcome back to another episode of RNT Fitness Radio, and today I'm joined by one of the members of the RNT family, Josh Keegan. After training for 10 years and never achieving the results that matched his efforts, Josh came to us at RNT to transform his body and take his results to the next level. Along this journey, he's experienced benefits that have transcended far beyond the physical. His business has blown up, and he's learned more about himself than ever before. What's interesting about this episode is the timing of it. We recorded this with Josh in the latter stages of a rocky consolidation phase, and we talk all about the experiences he's been through, the struggles, and how he's coming out of it for the better. Let's dive in.
How are the legs?
Yeah, no, they're good. I had 2 days of painful. I don't know about you, but I woke up in the night on a Sunday, forgot that I'd done the run. I was pretty much fell over into the wall, good to go to loo. They were absolute agony, but now they're kind of back on the right track, which is good. Just slow and steady. How are yours?
Yeah, my hamstrings are pretty sore, and my knees are quite shot. Ever since we've gone over 6 miles, they've just been in agony on the outside of the knees. So I've been upper body today, and I reckon I'll be back on legs probably Friday.
That's what I did. I got back into the gym today just to do all upper body stuff. I've been okay. My calves are the main thing. They're like literally like, they feel like lead. Like they're absolutely painful. The rest has all been all right, actually. It's just been my calves.
That's because you pegged it.
Yeah, probably a sprinter one. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
1 hour 42.
Wow. Yeah, 1 hour 43 really. 1 hour 42, 58, I think it was. Literally with that race, I had no idea how fast. It's my first ever half marathon. No idea how fast I was going to go. But you know, when you just kind of like this weird little thing set into me, it was like, I don't really want to do this again. So I might as well just make it the best I can possibly do, because I don't want to have to start the process, train again. So I'm just going to blitz it, get the best time I possibly can, and just keep absolutely powering it through. And it's all just a mental game, really. Like I was exhausted. I thought I was either going to nail it or collapse, and luckily the first half,
the former happened.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you think the fact that you've been doing so much cardiovascular training in preparation for your photo shoot and your transformation journey helped you a lot through the marathon?
I think so. Like I've been doing a lot of obviously I've actually always done a fair bit of running, to be fair, but always like short and steady, like HIIT training and stuff like that. But I do think the consistency of 3 runs a week for half an hour, and just kind of slow and steady. Yeah, definitely. Absolutely. I just felt like I had the energy. I feel also the legs training as well. I think my legs are definitely a lot stronger than they ever used to be. Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, I would have thought that as well, just because ultimately it's a cardio test. It's completely different to what the kind of cardio you do when you're doing like a body transformation, but at the same time, you're still working your heart. And the fitter heart is going to keep your blood pumping and allow your legs to keep moving for that period of time.
How do you feel about it?
I'm probably just giving you excuses about why I was 20 minutes off.
How do you feel about it? Are you because obviously you said you've only ever run 3 miles before this.
Yeah, the most I'd done, 3 miles was the most I'd ever done before, which was a 5K, which I did twice for a Tough Mudder last year. But before that, I hadn't run in 10 years.
Yeah,
it's literally just been bodybuilding and powerlifting for 10 years. So this is all completely different to me. So I was happy just to get underneath the 2 hour mark.
It's so impressive, dude. Like, I wouldn't I've been running for a long time, never long distances, but every week consistently. We'll talk about it in this, kind of my training background. I've always done a bit of running, and I think that did kind of play into it to an extent. And I don't know about you, but the laps as well was good. I like the laps because every lap I felt like, right, come on, you can do 5K. Like you can do that. Come on, you can do another 5K. And I felt like I had new decent energy each lap. So it was all a bit of a mind game from that perspective as well. I did quite enjoy it.
Yeah, and the steady, slow climbs of the hills as well.
Yeah, well, so on the hills, that's why I sped up. That's the bit I love because you can overtake people on the hills. It was all honestly, I was having I had a weirdly enjoyable experience. I wasn't expecting it at all. I just really, I can see why people do long distance running now. It's addictive. I'm up for doing it again. We need to do a marathon next.
Really? Is that what you're thinking?
No, I said we, Akash.
Oh,
yeah, you too. Everybody.
That's all the questions I've been getting in the last few days. So when's the marathon happening? I'm like, what?
If you do a half marathon in less than 2 hours, which you did, you can do a marathon now.
Let's see.
Cool.
You mentioned you've done a lot of running. You mentioned you've done a lot of running before. What was your training been like over the last, say, 10, 15 years? How's it evolved? And how long have you been training for? How's that come about?
I've always been like, so I'd say when I was, I'd say I first started kind of getting into exercise when I went abroad. I went abroad to Singapore for a year when I was at uni. I went abroad and I actually started exercising over there. And I always remember like what I used to do is I just started running quite a lot. So I'd just go for runs in the evening. And obviously Singapore, like ridiculously hot weather. And I was at the uni there, so I'd run around the campus. There's quite a lot of hills and stuff like that. And I just kind of got a bit into it then, just running around the campus. I don't think I was ever very good. And I got back from that and I actually lost a fair bit of weight going away to Asia and having like the Asian diet, which I absolutely love. But came back in probably better shape. And then when I got back, I just kind of joined a group of, because a lot of my friends left uni because they were only 3 years and I was in 4 years. I joined like a different group of people who are much more into the gym and stuff like that. So that's when I actually started going to the gym, playing like squash. I played a lot of squash in Singapore as well, so a lot of cardiovascular stuff. And that's where I really started kind of actually starting to train around that point. But it's been since that point, I'd say, because I can't, like, I've got into the gym a fair bit and then I get out of the gym and I've always done a lot of when I used to work for a big company, I'd run to the office or cycle to the office. There's always quite a lot of cardiovascular kind of stuff in there. I'd say it's been my relationship with the gym. It's like literally a cycle. Every year it's like, I'll get into the gym, I'll kind of really enjoy it. I really feel the benefits of it at the start. But then you start feeling good, but then I just didn't ever really see any results. So then I'd think, this is taking too much time, I'm not getting any results. So I'd stop doing that and I'd get back into my HIIT workouts at home. I won't name any names of any people that offer very good HIIT workouts on YouTube at home. But then I did them, got really into them. They made me feel really, really good. My housemates used to hate it because they hear me stomping in the house very early in the morning. And I'd do that for a while and that would feel good because I was like 20 minutes, blitz it and I'd feel that. But once again, you feel like a pump and you feel good for a bit, but very rarely kind of actually achieved the results I wanted. And that's been a cycle for like the last at least 4 or 5 years, definitely.
And what were you doing? So you were training quite hard. What were you doing with your nutrition? Was it being matched at the same time or?
Yeah, so I'd say that is like another different thing. So I've always been, like, from my view, quite healthy. I've pretty much always been on a diet, I'd say, in some way, shape or form. However, really looking back on it all now from the kind of newfound perspective that I have, I was always trying to cheat it. So I read a book called Wheat Belly about maybe 4 years ago now. And that's all about this concept of wheat and how, like, we're all fat because we eat wheat and there's a lot of science behind all of that. And it's very interesting. It's all to do with like your blood sugar level going up. And so after reading that and doing a lot more reading, I basically kind of became an advocate of like the paleo style diet, where it's like, as you know, like meat, veg, high protein, high fat, low carb. And so I've done that, like, I'd say before RNT, I was doing that like pretty well for about 4 years, really. And it's peaks and troughs. I think that the reality is, like, really looking back from perspective now, I was always quite disciplined. But then, when it's like a cheat, it's like you're trying to cheat the system. And now I know, like, it's just about the amount of carbs in versus carbs out. But what I was trying to do, like calories in, calories out. But now, at the time, I was I used to think, well, okay, no worries. It's just high fat, high protein. I can go and eat loads of peanut butter after my meal. I can eat an extra piece of pork. It doesn't matter about all the fat of the pork because it's all there. You read you can like satisfy anything you want to believe you can satisfy by going on the internet. So you can go on and read about how you're going to go into ketosis and all these things are going to happen and you'll strip away all your fat and all that kind of stuff. And it probably is true to an extent, but the reality is I was probably overeating quite a lot, even though I would eat quite healthy things.
Yeah, I've been there myself. I don't know if you heard me talk about it before, but when I was at university, I followed the 6.5 day low carb diet, and it was high fat. And this is when I was putting cheese on everything. I was putting butter on my salads and all of that. And then I'd have an evening where I eat whatever I like. But I had the same mindset where it was low carb, high fat, high protein, and that meant anything could go as long as it was within those food groups, right? There was no measurement of the calories, and I never got anywhere because of that.
Yeah, I think so. And I think the other key thing because this is something that only really kind of, I realized like about, must be like 6 months ago now, is like me and like I do what I started doing is like every Thursday, me and my brother, we'd go out like looking at, we read it on a Thursday, we'd go and look at houses for our job. Like we go to try and buy houses. And so I'd be out on the road. And so I'd be sitting he'd often drive, because I'd pretend that I preferred him driving. I just like to sit in the passenger seat. So he'd often drive around, and then we would go and look at houses, go to a stage, and I'd always be pretty much falling asleep, and I'd just feel absolutely knackered. And I kind of realised like, it's only now having gone through the RNT process and having like a solid nutrition plan, I think I was just burning out. Like I think that I thought the diet was working for me, but the lack of carbs was so I kind of refueled after the weekend. So I'd, go off the diet a little bit, have, bread, have some, bread with my scrambled egg in the morning, all that kind of stuff. Go back onto it fully on Monday to Wednesday, be training quite hard. I was half asleep by Thursday, and then Friday I'd wake up and I'd just feel achy all over, and I just really like have an absolute like lull in productivity. I just never really get anything done in the day. So I think like looking back on those diets now, like, yeah, they weren't the right. I'm sure they can be done well, but they weren't the right thing for me at the time.
So you on the 4-3 diet then?
Yeah, essentially that. And then just fall off the bandwagon after those 3 days. But yeah, like I think the same with you. You kind of justify it to yourself, don't you? And I think we've all been there. Like you just kind of try something out. I think the reality is we're all looking, when you're health conscious, you're always looking for a way to kind of cheat it. I've tried vegan as well. I've tried like all of these different things. And all of them, like I'm vegetarian, and all of them kind of resulted in the same. And yes, it didn't really work for me.
Yeah, just that classic kind of search of the next shiny object and wondering when you're going to stumble on the one that works for you. Which segues me nicely into asking why RNT then? What made you think that was not going to be just another type of diet that you're going to follow and fall back on?
It's good. It's a really good question. I saw some of your ex-clients. Obviously, you know that I'm kind of in the property world, and on a program with Shiv and Akash, who are two people you worked with. Must be like almost a year ago now. Time absolutely flies, and saw their results. I guess I always wanted to do it and have that accountability. I guess my main concerns were having to stick to a really rigid meal plan, that is, that I would not be able, that would kind of restrict my life a little bit too much. That was kind of key concern. Not being able to drink, and like how, like, because, I've always got a stag do in the diary, I've always got like a wedding, I've always got like a social event. So I didn't know how I was going to kind of deal with that. But I think I spoke to Shiv and Akash quite a lot, and they kind of, Shiv made it sound pretty straightforward and simple. And also going to talk about the flexibility that the kind of program offers from that perspective. And also you taught about how to manage social events and how to do those bits and pieces, and also explain that this isn't just something you sign up to and you have to stick on this for the rest of your life. It's something you sign up to. You go to quite an extreme for a good amount of time, but then on the other end, you learn about how to actually make a lifestyle out of it. And that was a kind of key thing that I'd never heard that before. And it was always like, to me, it was always like you get into training mode, and for the rest of your life, you're eating like 1,500 calories a day. Like you're going to the gym 8 times a week. And that didn't really sit well. Like, I knew I wasn't going to be able to fit that in. So when someone explained that to me, it just seemed like a good idea. Had a chat with you, seemed nice enough, and then thought I'm just going to go for this. Really, my 29th birthday is on 24th of February, like just gone, and so I thought let's get to that point, dream body. By that point, I want to have had a photo shoot, and crystallize that before I got to that milestone goal of being 29. Yeah,
it really is a case of starting with the aggressive transformation and then almost transforming that transformation into a lifestyle. And going from one to the other. It's always difficult to just jump into the lifestyle because you never see enough tangible results to make you motivated enough to keep the lifestyle. Whereas if you kind of go throw yourself in the deep end, get that extreme transformation, instill the habits and routines, you can then shift gears into a more lifestyle approach, which is where it's all about. It's what it's all about, where you stay in good shape year round, and you learn how to navigate around social occasions, business challenges, etc.
Yeah, definitely. I think that, and I agree with this, like in business and in life in general, you have to experience the extremes to like know what that extreme is, to learn, when you can put your foot down a little bit to kind of go toward extreme weight loss, extreme kind of, dieting to kind of get you to that photo shoot, which is like almost an extreme, like it's extreme kind of lean body position. Once you experience that, you can understand how to control that. Yeah, I mean, what I'm sure we'll kind of touch on now about the consolidation phase and stuff like that. But I've learned how to lose weight, and now it's about trying to hold it, which is like a whole nother game in itself. Like, and I wasn't expecting I'd ever have to say it, but holding weight is like another extreme you've got to learn how to do.
Yeah, it's essentially
and it's like once you go to that extreme, it's like changes your mindset. Sorry.
So I think there's a lag.
That's okay.
No, you're completely right, and it becomes a goal in itself in how to maintain body weight. And a lot of people get into that amazing shape, and then they don't think about what comes afterwards, and they think that just stays automatically, whereas it doesn't, because now there's no immediate short-term goal, and now you've got to try and work out how you're going to turn what you've just got, which is so extreme, into something that's manageable, that you can fit around day to day and keep it going for the rest of your life.
Yeah,
there's a whole different animal.
Imagine you're desperate to do the Lord of the Rings analogy.
Yeah. I've been saying it for too many times recently. So
did you make that up in the podcast, in the Consolidation podcast?
On the spot. Yeah,
I loved it. I was listening to it. I was walking around. I was at my grand's house actually again. I'm really going through the consolidation phase. Really struggling with it, and the Lord of the Rings like methodology for it. For like you achieve that goal, and then you turn back and you look. You've got to just go back through to get back down to the Shire. And then when you get to the Shire, you're going to be a bit shaken up. So there's going to be a bit of relapse, like some relapses. Like it's so true. It's so true. So getting down the other side has been, definitely a bit of a,
in your own journey, you've just, you've literally just dropped the ring into Mount Doom. You've destroyed the one ring, and you're kind of in that zone where you're trying to get back to the Shire.
Yeah.
And I think it's a cool time to be recording this episode, because you're on that journey now, on the way back, and you're figuring out a lot of things yourself at the moment. Let's talk about this consolidation phase that you're in, and what you've been going through, because I think you've got some really good insights on this, especially because I've spoken to Nathan about how you've been about you, and he says you've got a lot of good insights on this.
Yeah, definitely. I think I don't think that anyone will ever believe when the coach says to them, right, you've done the photo shoot now, and now this is the hard bit, like this is even harder. I don't think anyone believes that at all. I didn't know what he was talking about, because I just couldn't see how, you've just been restricted calories for 12 weeks, but coming out the other side, it's like very, very, it's really challenging. It's like, it's just all the mind games you play with it are huge, because as you said, you put the one ring into Mordor, and so you like your goal was gone. Like that's been completed now. You've done it. I got my photo shoot done. I lost weight before my 29th birthday. My goal was done. So it's like this concept of, well, but I don't want to lose all the work I've just put in, but you don't really have this new goal just yet. And now you've got to but you also shouldn't really be dieting anymore. Like you don't want to continue on the dieting phase. So you have to reverse out of it nice and slowly and steadily. But there's it's very clear cut with the dieting phase. Like, you know that you've just got to stay below a certain level of calories. Like it's very clear cut. And you know that if you have a biscuit or do anything like that, you've broken that and you need to not have any more biscuits or not have a biscuit. It's really straightforward. When you start going to the consolidation phase, it's like, well, now you need to just kind of maintain. So having the odd biscuit here and there is okay. Like it's not an issue. You're allowed to do that. You can have a biscuit, but there's no there's nothing to stop you then having another biscuit and then another biscuit, then a bag of sweets. And then like, by the time you've kind of blown off, you think, well, this day's a write-off anyway. And then just go on that cycle and just absolutely binge and just eat everything in the cupboard. And trust me, it's happened like a few times. Like everything in the cupboard, everything you can get your hands on until you actually feel full. And Nathan did warn me as well, like your hunger mechanism is like very minimal after you've gone through that dieting phase. You almost don't have a hunger mechanism. So like to feel full, you almost have to like be physically broken, like feel it in your stomach, so your actual muscles and abs hurt. And yeah, it's like it's crazy. Like the psychology, like the way your mind kind of really works when you're going through that phase is crazy. And it's all just very emotional. There's no logic to it. It's extremely emotional, but your emotional mind can be very powerful and overcome a logical mind, when your logical mind doesn't really have a goal to work to anymore, because there's no logic. There's no logic to not do it, but there's no logic to do it either. So your emotional mind just kind of takes over, and you just end up binging, and just it's very easy to put the weight back on like very, very quickly.
So what have you done to almost shut the irrational brain, irrational logic in your brain?
Well, still massive, like still 100% working on it.
Yeah,
I think that there's a few different things. I mean, number one, I'm not good. There's certain foods I'm not good with. Anything you can have more of, there's not like something you have to cook. Like I try to keep them away. Like things like apples. I realize apples are a real trigger food for me. If I have an apple, I then go, right, okay, well, there's another one in that bowl. I can have another apple. Oh, there's only another 60 calories. Let's have one more apple. And all of a sudden you're spiraling. Things like rice cakes, like that, those for me, like, yeah, they're just there in the cupboard. I have 5, 6, whatever, and I go, oh, it's only another 25 calories of rice cake. Just get another couple more. Then all of a sudden you've eaten 16 rice cakes. And like, so trigger foods have been big for me, just taking them out of my meal plan. So they're not involved at all where possible. So that they've been big, and that's something I learned from Nathan to take out. Social events, like that's definitely enough of a challenge. As you know, I go to a hotel once a month, and it's like kind of breakfast, lunch, dinner included for 2 days. And often that, like, just got back from a 4-day event as well. Managing them is definitely the hardest part of it all, I'd say. Well, particularly when you've got a buffet, but one of the things that me and Nathan put in place was just have one plate. Like, have one plate of food. And a big thing that he kind of taught me was, because what we do is often I'd mess up. I'd have my one plate. I'd have at the buffet, and I'd be relatively restricted. And I'd just send him a quick voice note saying, just so you know, like it's kind of all spiraled out of control today. I had like at the buffet, I was really, really reserved. I fasted all morning. Had like a plate of salad to start with. Then I got my plate of food. Didn't have any more food, but then later on in the day, it all just kind of spiraled out of control. And so Nathan would just go, well, let's have a look at the day. Like, where did that lack of control kind of come from? And like, so in that scenario, his version was it was the plate of salad at the start. It's not about the calories. It's about the fact that you took that extra plate, and we said one plate. And so that's where the psychology started to start trying to cheat this diet. So setting that rule of like one plate and sticking to it, like it's very hard to do, particularly as a buffet. But once you do that and you get through it, then for the rest of the day, you're on track, which is really powerful. The other thing
I add to that is one plate. Yeah. Make that one plate last long, because what you'll find is at a buffet, everyone else is going to go up for 3-4 servings, so you'll feel like you're eating at the same pace as them, whereas you don't realize they're going to go up again in 5 minutes. You've got to pace it almost.
Yeah, definitely. And my one plate, it's like full of like half of it's just veg, like, but it's piled of like cucumber, like all kind of good stuff. A small piece of meat, and then maybe a little bit of carbs, or sometimes avoid the carbs. But I will, and everyone always makes a comment when you sit down, bloody hell, that's a plate. But I will sit there and I'll eat it, and it will take me about half an hour, whereas everyone else has been up 4 times and then they're on desserts. Like, so it is powerful. I think I went out for an Indian meal, and Nathan's advice was you just got to take your time and chew. And like, his advice was, when you chew it, like, even when you think you're done, just keep chewing it. It should be like water. A bit disgusting, but you push it through, and then eventually you just get bored looking at that plate of food. It's almost boring now to keep eating. Your mouth starts to hurt you. You've just been chewing so much, and then like your enthusiasm. I still kind of do push myself to finish the plate, I'm still not there yet. Where I'm still like I heard on one of your podcasts, someone suggests you always leave the last mouthful. I want to do that, but I'm still not at that point yet. I've got that much control, but I am almost bored of eating, and it's kind of like, right, I'm done, and it allows you to feel full. And so chewing and breathing, it's been massive as well. Rather than just inhaling your food.
Yeah, that's a big one, and it's so easy when you're in that period of your hunger hormones are so thrown off, and you're so used to just piling the food down.
Yeah.
Without any conscious thought, and just slowing it down, being more mindful. I think we spoke about this in the Facebook group about it. Just slowing it down makes a massive difference. Going for those 30 chews per bite can make all the difference.
I think Nathan gave you as an example. Actually, he said that I can't remember the crux of the story. He basically said you used to make it so you'd always be the last person. Like you just it's your mission to be the last person at that table, like the longest there that you possibly be. And I've started to kind of get into that mindset of really taking my time, really enjoying the food, put my knife and fork down and chew. And that's huge.
That's another one. Just putting your knife and fork down can make a big difference.
Yeah.
And these strategies are ones that you can use for life as well. They will help your digestive system, and you'll pick up less intolerances. You will feel less gassy and bloated, and you just feel much better with your food. And also, you'll actually have conversations around the table, because we've all been there where someone finishes their food in 5 minutes, and they're all they're doing is thinking about food. Whereas if you just slow it down a bit, put your fork and knife down, you can just take in what's around you. I don't know if you remember when we were around that dinner table the time I came up. It took me ages to eat that meal, right?
Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
And I don't think I don't do it consciously now, but it's just a habit now where I just slow down and chew for ages. And like, for example, steaks take me ages to eat. Steaks, because that makes a big difference. So that's the second one. What other tips have you got that work for you? And then potentially what's not worked for you that you've tried? I think that'll be interesting.
It was one more that's really worked, and this was like because I feel like I'm getting to the Shire now. I'm still not there, but I'm probably about a mile away. I can kind of see it, but I'm feeling a bit traumatized from the journey still. So there's still a few bits of real. I love the analogy, by the way. Like,
you just passed Rivendell.
Yeah, just past Rivendell. I've had a nice little ride over the river, but yeah. So another thing that has really worked more recently. And this is maybe not for early stages of consolidation phase, but two things. I think one of them is just being really honest with Nathan. Like, honestly, there's sometimes I've sent voice notes and he's come back to me. I've been terrified to open the voice note. I've literally put it off like 2 days, not listen to it, because I just really messed up. Like I did everything that I shouldn't have done, handled it all in the exact wrong way, made all these stupid justifications in my head about why I should eat all this or have all this or drink all this or like go to McDonald's on a night out. Like, all of these and have 2 burgers and a wrap. Like, it's just unnecessary. All of these things, like, they all kind of come in when you go for the consolidation phase. You've had a few drinks, and so I've learned, like, once I was honest with him a few times about where I really messed up, I've just, like, honesty's really opened up now, and I found that that's worked really well. Because before, I don't know if I was always honest. I think I kind of like say, oh yeah, I've had a good day today, but not telling about a few things, or I've had a bad day, but kind of soften the blow, if you like. And now that honesty's opened up, I found that's been super powerful for kind of getting me through it. It's just an absolute psychological game. And he really helps when he knows what's going on. But when he doesn't, like, the advice is obviously useful, but how can you advise properly? I know it all makes sense. Like, of course you should be honest with your coach, but the reality is you've got the emotional brain telling you not to, and trying to shy away from getting told off as well. So that's been big consolidation. I think as well, the thing that he told me to do recently, which I thought was really powerful, is I sent him a voice note. I think it was on, I can't remember. It was a couple of weeks ago, actually. I sent him a voice note, and like it was about my weight, and my weight had gone up by about 0.5 kilogram or something like that. I can't remember, because I've been away all weekend at a hotel. And I was like, just that, the weight's gone up, like, I'm not really too keen on it. I feel a bit like, disappointed. It's a real shame. And he just said, well, he just sent me a message back just quite quickly and just said, look, just let's forget about the weight for a sec. How's things going? How's your business life? How's your personal life? How's the training going? And he just sent me through some training logs so we could start focusing on them. And he just basically took my focus off the scale rate, because he made a very good point. It's just creating a damper on everything. Like, the training is going really well at the moment. I'm progressing my lifts. I'm feeling really good. I'm really enjoying it. business is going well, life is going well, relationships going well. Like, you know, everything personally is going so well. I was so caught up in this half a kilogram. And so what I've started to do now is really start to focus on the gym and the focus. I'm not weighing myself every day anymore. I do it once a week. And that's helped a lot as well, where I'm being emotionally attached to that number on the scales. It's been just a shift in mindset and feeling a lot better rather than feeling like I'm failing all the time.
Yeah, creating a platform for success and just shifting it from aesthetics to performance to make all the difference. Yeah,
absolutely. That's been fantastic. And now, like, I'm just excited to get in the gym, just kind of sending through my performance weight, sending through, like, you know, recordings of my exercise and all that stuff. And the scale number is important, but it's just less of a factor. It's more to indicate how things are going, whether I need to rein it in or, you know, or eat a little bit more, because I've got to try and maintain it. And that's been really, really good. Really good.
How far off your lowest are you at the moment?
So my lowest was about 70.6. I'm at about 75 at the moment. So it's gone up quite significantly, actually.
I was going to say, that's about right for like almost like a lifestyle weight.
Yeah, I agree. I think that this is like the interesting bit. So obviously I weighed myself, you know, at the start of this week, and because I had the marathon, I've been in the hotel for 4 days before, went for some drinks after the marathon. So on Monday I was quite bloated, and so it always comes down, you know, a bit after that. So on my Monday, my message was, you know, I want to set my goal of getting that 74 kilograms for the next month ahead, all that kind of stuff, and really appreciate Nathan's feedback. He was just like, well, you know how to lose weight, but we're just going to go back in this dieting phase. That's not what we want to do. I need you to learn how to maintain a weight.
Yeah.
And like that totally totally just changed my perspective on everything. Like, he's so right, because there's no point in being able to lose weight. Because when I cut again, I know how to do that. I can cut again down to whatever weight I need to, but I can't hold that. I don't know how to hold that yet. And that's the next kind of muscle I've got to build, if you like, the next kind of challenge I've got to learn. So it's like really powerful. I love that. I've never looked at it like that before in my life.
What tactics have you tried that have gone completely haywire?
Probably quite a few. Using like kind of what I did build in quite a lot was trying to eat like comes back to talking about apples again. Like eat like a lot and have a lot of snacks in my day. So I build in like a lot of fruit and mainly primarily apples. So I really like them. I know to get some apples, but I love, honestly, like since RNT, like I'm obsessed. Like, there's a bowl out there, and, you know, trying not to go and get one. Like that didn't work. Having like building like 4 apples into my day, like, and so they became like a biscuit is or a chocolate bar is to somebody that's not on like the kind of diet phase. So I would just kind of go to, and I always craved an apple, and so I'd overeat on that, and then that causes more overeat into that. That's not really worked by trying to eat lots and lots. And what's like just reflecting on that though, like I'd say they are just a trigger food, and for me, like kind of more regimented meal times works. And yeah, just moving on that, like taking out the flexibility in the meal times. Like I eat the same thing, same times each day, and that really works. So you don't have to think about it. It's just the decision fatigue you guys talk about. That's also been very, very effective to keep it in place. I'm trying to think what's really not worked. Like, I don't think that during the consolidation phase, trying to buffer too much really works. I think that because when you diet and you're buffering a lot, I don't think at this phase it works too much. I think you just need to be on plan. I don't think that trying to be too flexible and like telling yourself, you know, because theoretically you can say, well, I'm going to have a piece of cake later, as long as that's on the plan. I don't think doing stuff like that really works just yet. It's just like, it's too quick to kind of introduce it. Because as soon as you have that piece of cake, it's a bit of a trigger to eat more.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think trying to buffer when you're on a consolidation is always setting yourself up for a bit of failure, because when you're in that position of social environment, you don't have the restriction of, you don't have the cap anymore where you're thinking, oh, okay, I'm going to keep myself controlled because of fat loss. It's like, okay, well, I've had this, I might as well just go all out. and you're extra hungry already because you've been fasting or you've been eating less during the day.
But how long did it take you to get through the consolidation phase, would you say?
So I've had quite a few. I had a really bad one in 2014, but I didn't have a consolidation phase. And the reason why we talk about it now a lot is because mainly because of our own personal mistakes and then what we've seen with clients. But in 2014, I booked an all-inclusive straight after my bodybuilding show.
Nice.
That threw me completely off because you mentioned earlier where you don't really know what fullness is until your abs are stabbing themselves with food.
I'm glad you know what that feeling is.
Yeah. That's why I smiled when you said that, because I could remember I was in Rhodes and I remember just like bent over like, I'm just in so much pain right now. But because your brain doesn't know what full is. And it took me about that time, because I started so badly, like I didn't have a period of easing out of it. I literally went from bodybuilding contest shredded to like 8 weeks later being 13 kilos up and completely reversing all the gains I'd made. And I had a really bad relationship with food for about, I'd say close to a year off the back of that. And I think a lot of it came from just not having a clue what was coming up next.
Yeah. And
I didn't really have a coach. I stopped using my coach at the time. At the day of the show, I was like, we're done now. Okay? So it was like, there was no anticipation what was going to happen next. And for a long period of time, I was ignorant towards the scale, where I just thought, I'm not going to look at the scale because I'm probably getting stronger and it's probably building some muscle. I didn't actually check it for about 8 weeks, which was really bad. Mainly because I was scared of it. And from that, I decided to mini diet again. Like, so I dieted again and then lost a couple of kilos and ballooned back up. And it was a constant cycle for about a year until I finally regained control. And a lot of the control came back from just implementing structure in my day and not trying to be too flexible. A lot of the problems I had came from too much flexibility and trying too hard to be fancy with it and spending too much time thinking about food. When what you just mentioned there is when I just put things on autopilot and got rid of that decision making, it just made it a lot easier. And having structure in my day is still to this day the most important thing for me to stay on track with my physique goals and everything really in my life.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think that I think it's just introducing flexibility in the right way. This week I've introduced a bit of flexibility, where in the evening I'll have all my days structured in the evening. Me and my girlfriend will have like a dinner together, and it's always like pretty macroed out, like a piece of meat, some rice, like just a really nice salad. Like I used to make like spicy style like Thai salad or something like that. A bit of variety in it, and we eat together, and that's really worked for me. It's just a little bit of flexibility. But it's like properly staying on track, and that's like structured flexibility has been really good. But the moment you start like, what is horrible, when your mind is just the whole day, all you can think about is like you eat, and and while you're eating, you already think about when you're going to eat next and what you're going to get to eat next. That is horrible. That is like a nasty place to be in. But yeah, the structure helps with that. Also, just trying to just tune into that and be very, very aware of it. I found that's been helpful too, and really quantifying it. Say, look, you don't need it. Telling yourself you do not need that. Nathan also kind of prescribed to me this concept of, when you finish your meal, what you do is you have like a bit of a routine, a bit of a ritual. So if I'm at a restaurant, that's picking my napkin up and putting it on the plate, like I'm done, like that's finished, like, and that has to stop, and you have to get into that. If I'm sitting at the desk in the office, I'm going to take my finger up, my little plate up, or whatever, wash it up, pop to do, wash it, like put a bit of water on my face. I know it sounds silly, but it's kind of like that's closed and that's finished. And I found that works really well. It kind of stops that. And I found, that little routine to tell myself you're done now, and you don't even think too much. You just have to get up and do it, like that little routine. That's been helpful as well. It just closes my thoughts off. Not perfectly, but it works.
Yeah, it's all a sort of process that you have to go through and find what works for you. You're still right into the deep end of it, so it's probably. I
feel like I'm not as far as you think. I feel like maybe I'm gonna have a wobble, but I feel like I'm getting past the other side.
Are you coming out of it? Okay. So
I hope so.
It's fresh in your mind. That's all I can say.
Yeah, massively.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's fresh in your mind, so you can easily reflect on what's worked and what hasn't worked. And I think there's a lot of good advice there for people who may be struggling with that side of things, with the food aspect. because it is a completely unknown territory for most people.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's very challenging. Go on.
I just wanted to switch gears and go back a bit to during the fat loss phase, and you mentioned that you got to lowest you got to was like 70.6 or something.
Yeah.
But I know you had some struggles getting down there in the end, and actually you hit a real hard dip around 72 mark, I believe.
Yeah. So I got to about. I was really happy actually with the progress. Like it went. I was doing mine over the Christmas period as well, so I had it was very hard. But then around 72, I got to that point where I just don't know. I just couldn't seem to get below it. And I just had this weird mental block where I just couldn't shift that 72 mark. I remember it was 72.2. And no matter what I did, I was still doing the same things. I just couldn't get past that 72 point. I was waking up every day, looking at the scales, and sometimes it would go up and I'd be really frustrated and feel really kind of down about it. I just couldn't really shift it. And it was a real kind of dark time. And at that time as well, all I could think about was eating and food, because all I could think about was my scale weight. I felt quite stressed by the whole thing. And I just wanted to eat all of the time. And I think that was probably obviously no surprise. That was probably the time where I was off plan, having that extra spoonful of peanut butter in the evening, having that extra snack in the evening, stuff like that. But I just couldn't seem to get my head around why the scales wouldn't go down. Now you look back, it's obvious why they wouldn't. But that dip is a real, I know you guys talk about your podcast. It's a very real place, I think.
And what made you push past it? What did you do mentally to get past that?
So it's actually more rather than a mental thing, it was actually more of a bit of a hack that kind of me and Nathan put in place. So one of the key things I said to him was that, look, all I can think about is food. This is horrible. I'm not enjoying this. All I'm thinking about is when I'm going to eat my next apple or eat my next meal or whatever. And so what we said was, right, well, let's set some alarms. So what I did was I set on my Fitbit an alarm for I think it was 12 o'clock, 3:30, 5 o'clock, some alarms. I think it was 6 alarms throughout the day. And basically what we agreed was I don't eat until those alarms go off. So whenever the buzz came on my wrist, I'd just go and eat. And I'd set my meal plan out at the start of the week. I'd eat the same things every day and just set that out. And that's when I started, actually in that dip is when I really started the whole, take 100% taking decisions out, because that's where I really needed it most. I was fine up to that point. But at that point I needed to 100% take decisions out. And so I started that alarm literally as soon as my alarm went off. I'd anticipate it and look forward to it. I'd often fast in the morning till about 12. And so at 12, and I was really excited for that buzz to go off. But it was even things I don't even get up and start putting the food in the microwave until that alarm's gone off. And then as soon as I started kind of really reprogramming my head, it was crazy how quickly it started to turn around for me. Massively felt the stress levels went down. I started sticking to the plan. And then all of a sudden I was just back in the zone again and started to lose the weight again. I combined that with also fasting in the morning till about 12 because I wanted to just take all the decisions out in the morning, give my digestive system a break, but also just feel like I've already conquered it. It was a win. When I got to 12 and I'm not eating a single thing, it was I've mastered this. I've not eaten anything. So why now would I need to eat loads and loads of food? I'm massively in control. And I think the combination of those three things got me through the dip.
Yeah. Do you still fast now?
Not as much as I did, mainly because obviously we're shifting now to a performance program. So I need to have something in it, and I do the gym in the morning. So I need to have something before I go. I would really like to. But so I am thinking about shifting my gym to the afternoon because I really like fasting in the morning. I think that I don't really like eating in the morning, and I really like the concept of just go through the motions. There's meant to be a lot of health benefits for you, and I do like the kind of mind set of it. But not at the moment because I have to have a post-workout meal according to you guys at the moment. So yeah, I need to change my routine. You fast, don't you? It's about 11.
I fast till 11, every day. Mine's more for productivity benefits. I just want to get all my important work done in the morning before worrying about food.
Do you find that shortening the hours to when you're eating, it must help a little bit in terms of calorie control.
Yeah, for sure. It helps you manage your body weight way easier.
Yeah.
I don't really do it from that perspective though. And even if I was probably muscle building, like I'm in like a long, like slow muscle building phase, but even now I just make the meals bigger. And I don't have like urgencies, like I don't have problems controlling my calories in the moment.
Yeah.
It's purely just for a productivity point of view. Like for me, waking up and then having breakfast at 7 just kills my magic time, as I like to call it, in the morning, where I get all my high value work done.
Do you train in them? When do you train? Afternoon?
I train at 1, 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's when I like to train. It's almost like a little bit of a reward as well. So I've done all my hard work, then I go and train, and then when I finish my training and come back, that's when I do all the menial tasks in the day that require much brain power.
I think that's a really valid point. I think that like from an RNT perspective, like it is really like trying to like it's really interesting to learn how everybody does it, like in terms of like the actual daily routines that everyone has. And like I'm always like in that progress of like trying to change and trying to get better. So I'm really considering the concept of actually doing exactly what you said. So get up at 5, do everything I need to do, work my way through meditation, all that kind of stuff. Have really powerful mornings, and then having lunch around 11, and then go to the gym in the afternoon. I'm looking at it. I just hard, isn't it?
Yeah, the only downside of training about 1, 2 is sometimes I feel like if I haven't got everything done, I never go to the gym having got everything done, but sometimes I feel like, I could probably do with a couple of hours more work, and then the gym gets delayed a bit.
Yeah.
Whereas I'll still go, but I won't feel like I'm in the right headspace for it. Whereas if you get it done in the morning, there's no way the day can distract you.
Yeah.
So that's the benefit of the morning. I was considering shifting it to the morning just so that I can have that quiet period of not knowing what's actually happened yet in work.
Yeah.
Whereas with 1 o'clock, sometimes it can affect your headspace a bit. So there is that catch-22 that really depends on what's the priority at the moment. Is it work? If it's work, probably go in the afternoon. If it's training, go in the morning.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know whether this is the right thing to do or not, but I got into a very, very good routine when I was like in the swing of things. It was like I'd get up very early, have an hour to myself, go to the gym for like 6 o'clock, but I'd walk to the gym, and I'd also set my to-do list for like all of the busy work. Like, so there's a lot of busy work I don't like doing. Like, I don't like doing emails. Like we use some software called Asana. So there's like an inbox on that. There's my normal emails, WhatsApps, all that kind of stuff. And what I do is on the walk to the gym, I do all of that stuff. Like I'd get so much done on that walk. When I'm at the gym, I'd walk around the gym and I'd do more of that stuff. And I walk home. So by the time I got home, I'd done all my busy work that I used to hate doing. Did a gym session, and also normally got about 10,000 steps. So I did quite like that, but I'm trying to be kind of a bit more present now. So when I'm at the gym, I'm at the gym, not trying to do all my emails at the same time. So I'm just kind of toying with it at the moment, like getting different perspectives. I think that it's like with the diet, it's trying to create that real lifestyle that works as with your training as well. And it's quite challenging, but it's just learning what everyone does and just keep toying with it, I think, till it works.
For me, if I was to do emails throughout the session, I would feel like I never actually got out of work. And especially in a muscle building phase where you're going to find where the performance, when your performance goes up and your sessions get harder and harder each week, you're going to have that little bit of positive anxiety where you think, shit, how am I going to beat this session? Like, and that's where you really start growing, where you start thinking, I've got 100 kilos for 8 on the squat last week. How am I going to get 9 reps? I'm going to somehow do it. But if I'm not in the moment for it, it's never going to happen. Yeah,
I totally agree. I think I'm kind of coming around to that now. It's like now as we got into performance mode, like I'm having to psych myself up, and like it doesn't really work. That worked for me at the time when I was having to do lots of steps, lots of cardio and all that, and I just didn't have time. So that really worked. It fixed the gap for them. But yeah, I'm exploring it. I definitely think that the routine and like the training and how you squeeze that in or how you fit that in is definitely part of that, building that lifestyle phase as well. Yeah, for sure. You'll find you'll settle on it once you've experiment with a couple. The one I'm doing is I've pretty much stuck on it for about 2 years now, pretty much since I've started the business. So it's almost just stuck with me throughout. Yeah, it's sustainable. That's good. I haven't actually needed to shift it. One thing I wanted to ask you is, as a super busy business owner yourself, a common complaint you hear is, I don't have time to train. I don't have time to meal prep or get in shape. What do you say to people like that? It's a good question.
Because you're surrounded by them. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I totally understand. I totally understand. I mean, the journey I've been on has been it's been incredible. I think as soon as I started doing it and making it, you have time. It's just what you're going to spend your time on. That's reality. We've all heard that kind of concept, and it's really true. I do think for the people that are in that mindset, they've not yet kind of started. I do think doing it all in the morning is a very good idea because, there's no excuse to get it done, and then you allow yourself to get sucked into the day. But since I started training, the amount of extra time I have is ridiculous because I've just had so much more energy and so much more productivity. It's been huge. And since I started with RNT, I've brought on a PA. I've kind of done. I've rewritten all our business plans, done processes, done systems, and it's all come just from this newfound kind of energy. So for me, what the gym's given me and what the program's given me, it's just a ridiculous, relentless amount of energy that's just allowed me to funnel that into the business. And my energy's all been put towards freeing myself up from the business. And so it's worked so well. And I'd suggest that anyone that doesn't think that they've got time, it's weird how it affects your life and how much energy and how much more time you're going to have as a result of you just feeling more energized and being more productive. And I don't know about you, Akash, but I don't think you can, when you've been to the gym and when you're in that good zone, my productivity, and I'm sure yours is too, is just absolute rockets.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And if I don't train for a couple of days, I mean, even today, we had a marathon on Sunday. I didn't get my usual Monday slot in, and Monday's it just sets the tone for the week.
Sets the tone, yeah.
Mine's always upper body on Monday. It sets the tone for the week. I didn't get it in this week. Yeah. I just felt a bit off. And then Tuesday's always my rest day. And then I had 2 days off, and then I'm thinking, I haven't even trained this week. So this week I actually trained earlier in the day because I was I need to just go and just get it done. And then once I came back, I felt great, and I've just been powering through the day.
It gives you momentum. It sets you up for this weird momentum, and it takes a bit of time to kind of kick in place. But once you kind of get into the routine, you get the diet in place, and you stick to the training, you get your steps in. It gives you all these weird little triggers, success, we call them success triggers, don't we? So success triggers, and so you feel very successful, you feel very positive, you feel very productive, and that just for anyone that owns a business, or even if you work or any kind of results orientated style jobs or work, you will just see your results absolutely mirror what you're doing in the gym, and you scale weight and your training. So I think it just mirrors it massively.
Speaking of mirroring, what parallels do you see between the transformation phases and the journey of going through business?
I think it's so symmetrical, it's ridiculous. It's all very, very much intertwined. I mean, talking about we talked earlier about the extremes of the fat loss phase. If any business that goes through kind of a rapid growth phase, for example, I think that's very similar. It's very, very challenging. You constantly having to hold your breath. You constantly have to really push it, keep pushing the boundaries, keep pushing you out of your comfort zone, keep thinking you're never kind of going to get the results, go for a dip where you feel like the whole business is going to break. And then you get out the other side, and then it all works, and you're really, really grateful for it. And like we talked about with that extremity, when you grow a business to that level, you then know how to grow it in a more stable and secure way because you've been to that extreme. You've learned a lot of lessons for it, but you know how to grow more carefully, if you like. I think that. Do you see what I mean with that? Does that make sense?
Yeah. You need, if you go through a rapid growth phase, you need a consolidation period afterwards. You do. If you double the size of the business, you need to consolidate. Otherwise, you're just gonna crash back to the bottom.
Exactly. And I've just last year for me was a bit of a consolidation phase after a lot of growth within the business. It's exactly the same thing. It's very, it's like going back to the Shire. It's a very rocky path back down. Very, very rocky path back down. And definitely that translates. It's exactly the same as the consolidation phase after the diet phase as it just is in business. I think what's also quite cool as well is when you kind of so I'm hoping to. I'm kind of towards the end of the consolidation phase. Nathan may have a different point of view, but I think I'm almost there, almost back safe into the Shire. But I think after that, it's like that kind of performance phase as well. Like now it's like the time to really make the business work. You rapidly grow a business, you then go consolidate, and then it's time for performance. And that's where the real kind of gains actually are.
Well, that's the investment phase. And that's where you build the foundations for future growth.
Yeah.
And then, just like in physique, in business, once you've done that, ultimately there's some sort of reward phase at the end where
definitely.
You've achieved your ideal physique, and in business world it'd be where you exit, or you're just living a lifestyle where you barely work and everyone's working, whatever it is that reward phase. So it's very parallel, and I'm glad you agree to that.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I think that I think there's a really good saying that your personal bank account will always match your business bank account. So if your personal bank account is messy and always shot up and always in an absolute mess, you've got no control over your finances, your business is likely to be in the same boat with your finances. And I do think there's a big when you're the leader of an organization or owner of an organization, I do think that your performance in the gym is very much mirrored by your training performance is very, very much mirrors your kind of leadership and management performance in the business as well. I do think the two are very, very much interlinked and combined.
Yeah, very interesting. Yeah, it's essentially how you do one thing is how you do everything.
Yeah, love that. I kind of I've got a love-hate relationship with that phrase. It's like, once you hear, it's like we were talking about the diet phase. So once you go through it, once you hear something, you can't unhear it. That phase, I go to the gym in the morning and I put my put my clothes into the locker. I'll just throw stuff in, then I walk away from the locker, literally lock it, and think, how you do one thing, how you do everything. And I go back and I neat it all up, put it all back, and hang it really neatly. So it's just that is so true, and it's it definitely translates. Definitely.
The other side of the coin with that phrase is you might not say with the locker example is you might not want to waste the energy and bandwidth for those sorts of things. So you might want to just keep it the way you want to protect it. So there's always the other side of the coin.
I know, it makes you feel good though, doesn't it? It's pretty game changing, absolutely game changing.
What's next for Josh? What's the next challenge?
So for me, I want to have another photo shoot before I'm 30. And I want to have done me and Nathan are still kind of talking about the goals for that. But I want to spend the next year, I want to build some muscle. My preconception before I moved into this is you could can add 3 or 4 kilograms of muscle, in a few weeks, but it's going to the gym. But I appreciate now that it's a very long kind of slowish kind of process, and the only impact is on genetics. So I want to try and build a kilogram, 2 kilograms worth of muscle by the time I'm 30, which is in about 10 months time. And then also just, have probably go through quite another dieting phase before that. So build the muscle, diet back down, and have photo shoot by the time I'm 30. That's the next kind of my next goal on the cards. But on top of that, I've learned so much about myself, particularly with my relationship to food. And that's my next big thing is just trying to mastering that part of my lifestyle, which is the only thing I feel like I don't have the best control over. And that's what I really want to do.
Yeah. So short term, master the relationship around food, and then long term, continue to improve your physique and showcase the rewards before your 30th.
Yeah, definitely. It'll be a big one, won't it? Yeah.
Let's finish up on some rapid fire questions.
Yeah, go on.
First one, on the topic of food, you've just done a really hard diet. What would be the first go-to meal for you?
Tofu, chicken, and broccoli. Spicy though, yeah, tofu, but with loads of Frank's hot sauce all over everything like that. That is my go-to.
Oh, there's tofu and chicken.
No, sorry, tofu, rice, and broccoli. Did I say tofu, chicken?
Oh, okay, yeah,
tofu, rice, broccoli.
Oh, awesome.
Spicy with loads of Frank's hot sauce all over it, like that. I've had that. I eat that meal twice a day, and it never.
Yeah, I was going to say you could probably eat that on a daily basis.
Yeah, I do. I eat. That's all I eat, really. I don't really eat anything else, so that's my go-to.
Are you more vegetarian now?
Not really. I still have chicken breast. So I've never really taken the protein shakes because they make me feel a bit sick. So I have the chicken breast instead. So no, I still eat. I just like it. I just got into it, and it became a staple. It's really easy to cook, and I can cook 12 portions of that in about 20 minutes. like meal prep. It's making my mouth water just thinking about it. I make it really spicy, like use like a load of Indian powders and stuff like that. Put Frank's hot sauce all over it, all absorbs it. It's bliss. I've got one in the fridge. I'll have it after this.
Amazing.
Yeah.
What's next on your bucket list?
That's a really good question. I want to go to Borneo for 2 weeks and go see the orangutans.
Borneo?
Yeah, go see all the orangutans in Borneo. I wanted to do that for like a long, long time.
Amazing. I haven't heard of that. I haven't heard that answer before.
Good.
Who should we have on the podcast next?
I just saw somebody the podcast with Arnold Schwarzenegger. If you can get him on, so that'd be pretty good. Yeah, no, that's my answer. That's a challenge for you. That should be your goal. That'll be your 5-year plan.
If we get Arnold on the podcast.
Yeah, you get him on the podcast. I think it'd be quite good. For you and him, we get on well.
Where can people find you? This is a general question. Is there anything you want to promote or plug?
Not really. No, you can find me on just Facebook. It's probably the best thing to kind of get involved with. I'm always happy to help, and like I'm always really happy to. I love the learning. So if anyone's posting about health, fitness, or anything like that, I'd love to be friends on Facebook. It'd be great. Awesome.
If you enjoyed today's episode with Josh and you feel like you can relate to his story, please share it with your family and friends and reach out to us with your opinion. For more information, please visit www.rntfitness.com, and to follow us on social media, you can visit us on Instagram at RNT_fitness. Thanks for listening.